All right, Soundation number 2. We're going to do another little Soundation studio mix here today. And so today, when you get started, you should be able to just log in rather than sign up if you did yesterday's assignment, if you did the previous assignment in this series. Still going to have to build a little mix. Don't have to have as many measures or tracks or channels. That's kind of up to you. It's kind of fun. So there's a minimum number, but you can have more if you want. One of the things I'm going to show is adding a fade, and that's going to be a requirement today. You'll have to add a fade, either a fade in or a fade out, and I'll show you how to do that. And let's see. So the tips here are kind of the same as yesterday. Using clips that have the same beats per minute. That's a good idea. Setting the beat per minute rate at the top to match your clips is a good idea. Here's your requirements: at least 20 measures, at least 3 channels, and some kind of fade. Fade in, fade out, I'll show you how to do that. We'll turn it in the same way. We'll export that low-res MP3 and then turn that MP3 in on Google Classroom. So let's hop over here. I am at Soundation.com. And like I said, today, if you did yesterday's assignment, you should now be able to just log in. So I'm going to click log in. I'm going to click log in with Google. I'm going to, up here at the top, I'm going to click Studio. Takes a moment to load, get the studio all ready. We're going to start a new solo project. And I'm going to go to work on showing you a couple of things before I build a quick mix here, all right? So maybe I'll go down to this Electronica starter kit, and I'm noticing a lot of these are 125 beats per minute. And I'm looking up the top, and it says that this is set on 125 beats per minute. So that's all matching. That's good. And most of these, almost all of these, are 125 beats per minute. So they would mix well together. And let's see. Let's just take, here's one that has some keyboards in it. Let's audition that for a second. I'm not sure I love it. There's some more keyboards up here. Let's all kind of electronic music. Find one I like. That's really short. Oh, there's more to it. Gotcha. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. We'll just use this one. This is fine. Okay. So what I want to do with this, and let me stop that. What I want to do with this is show you how to do the whole fade thing. Now I could take this electronic keyboard. It's kind of weird sounding music, but I could stretch it out as far as I want. It'll loop, right? If you see those little, you look for those little dividing lines, and it shows you how this thing loops. Now, what if I want that to fade in? I don't want it to just like, it kind of has a little bit of a fade in to it if I play it right now. You can tell when you look at it that when there you see that angle, that's kind of a fade in. But I'm going to show you how to do this. All right. To make a fade in, over here on the channel controls, on the very left-hand end of the channel where it says Electronica Synth Pad. Okay, all right, all right. You see this word effects, and then right here there's a box. And I'm just going to click that box, and I'm going to go to volume. That's what I'm going to work with here. So I'm going to click volume. And when I do, the display changes a little bit here, and I see a line that's running across the clip here. And that is a volume line. And I can come along here and put little, I can just click there and put little markers wherever I want them. I can just kind of click on that line and put markers wherever I want them. Now, if I grab a marker, like if I take this marker and I pull it down, what that's doing is lowering the volume. Right? The volume's way down. In fact, you wouldn't even be able to hear this. This would be so quiet you can't hear it. And this is a volume up, so the volume has come up. The volume is higher. And this ramp means, okay, the volume's getting louder, 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 louder as you go. Right? So that's a fade in, right? Now here's something you can do. If I take this handle and I scoot it this way, then that means this fade, this is time up here, right? Where these measures up here, measure 1, 2, 3, 4, that's time ticking by. And this really steep slope would mean that's a really fast fade in. The volume goes from like nothing to here in not very much time at all. It's really quick. But I could also grab this and stretch it like way out over here. And that's going to make it's a gradual slope, and it's going to make a gradual fade in. It will just get a little louder, little louder, little louder, little louder until it reaches this level right here. Let's listen to that and just see what. All right, so I'm going to hit stop there. And then if I wanted to put a fade out on this, I could come down here and click, I don't know, about here, and I could click about here. Usually a fade, you kind of have to have two of these little markers to create a fade. Because it's kind of a start and a stop. What level do you want at the beginning of your fade, and what level do you want at the end of your fade? So this is like if I wanted to fade away or fade out, I would have to have a marker up here, say, okay, let's keep the volume level kind of nice and high, and then let's take this one and bring it down so it creates that slope on that line. And so that means the volume level is going down, 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 down until it gets so quiet you can't hear it. So let's just listen to that fade out. I can bring this play indicator, this time indicator, just grab if you want to do that, you just grab the green triangle and just bring it down there, and then I can hit play. And that just faded out very nicely there. All right, so that's what a fade in and a fade out looks like. I'm going to hit stop. You put these markers in. If the slope is going up as time goes by, then it's getting louder, and if the slope is going down as time gets by, then it's getting softer. And if the slope is really steep, that's a fast fade out. But if the slope is really gradual, that is a slow fade out. Now, if you put a fade into a clip, and then you think, okay, I don't need to look at that anymore. I can see that line. That line is indicating for me what my volume's doing. The volume's coming up, and it's staying up, and the volume's going down. Then you can come back here to that box that I clicked at the beginning. Over here on the left-hand side, it says Effects, and there's a little box right there, and I could just click where it says Display Off, right there. And that kind of puts it back to the normal view, and it didn't ruin what I just did. If I were to go back here to that box and click Volume, my markers and my slopes are still there, but I could just turn the display off so I don't have to look at them anymore if I don't want to, right? Okay, so I'm not sure that I'm in love with that little piece of music there, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of quickly finish this thing. Let's see what this sounds like. I kind of like that. Really, that would be a better thing to start with. But I'm going to bring those drums in after a couple of measures here. Let's go ahead and turn that preview off. And I might pull this out to about measure, I don't know, where do we want to go? I like to go in multiples of 2 or 4. Let's go about the end of measure 18. And the requirement today is I would like for you to have at least 20 measures, which I'm past that. I have up here about 24. And at least 3 channels. These are channels over here. Every time I pull one of these things out and drop them in, and these things over here at the left, these are channels. All right, so let's go find something else I can just throw in here, and then we'll give it a listen, and that'll be good enough for mine. And you'll make, you're going to make your own. What's this sound like? Ooh, that's fun. All right, so let's bring that in. And again, just musically, I like to kind of work in with some multiples of 2 or anyway, you do what you want. Boom, I'll bring it back. And I could fade any of these, right? I could go to this track right here and say, well, all right, let's go volume, and let's add a little fade in here. I can't get that where I want it. All right, so I'm going to add a little fade in there. Maybe I'll even add a little fade out there. In the last few measures, I'll put some markers in there and kind of make that fade out. So it's going to fade in, fade out, and I'll go back here and say, let's turn that display off. And just for kicks and giggles, why not do it down here too? Let's go to that little button and go to volume, and put some markers on the line and take one down here. Now, a little quicker on this one, I think. Maybe not quite so high, though, not so loud. And then let's take it down like that. And I'm not sure I'm really level there, but that's okay. And then I'll go display off. Cool. All right. So let's give it a listen. This one will fade out at the very end because I put fade outs in there. You got to put a fade in somewhere. You don't have to have a fade on every channel, and you don't have to have a fade in and a fade out. But I do want you to work with a fade. I want you to try it. I want you to get in there and do it. Here is one other thing that we might look at. Let's see. How do you do that instrument channel thing? That's not what I want right there. All right, here's a thing that I don't know if you want to play with this or not, but if you go down below, I've got 3 channels here, and if I do a right click, I can add what's called an instrument channel, and then it says double click to create a note clip. So I'll double click. It puts kind of a virtual keyboard on here. All right, so I just want to show you something here. I'm going to come up here and click this pencil tool, and it's kind of like a synthesizer. You can scroll this. So by putting these little, I took the pencil tool and I put these little blocky things in here, and those are notes. It's like tapping the note on the keyboard. And if you put them in the same spot, that's a chord. I don't know if you are very familiar with music, but and it seems like okay. Anyway, if I play that, oh, wait, you know what? I'm going to mute everything else because I kind of just want to hear my note clip here. I'll just hit the play button again. So I made a scale. I made it run up the scale and then do a chord. And some of you are musically inclined enough that you could probably work with these things. I don't even know what that button does, to tell you the truth. If somebody get in there and find out. Some of you are probably musically, oh, there it was. I saw that little arrow I was expecting. Boy, that's touchy. If you move carefully, if you take the arrow tool and you move very carefully, you can extend this, and this would be like 8th note, quarter note, whole note kind of thing. So if I play this again, do you hear this hold longer? See what I mean? It holds longer. And if you have to use the arrow tool, and you have to be really it's really picky. You can probably zoom up on it some, and maybe that help. Oh gosh, that's too much. That maybe makes it easier. And I bet if you put a note in wrong, you take the pencil, you can probably take it out. Can you take it out? Can I? Yeah, I can just hit the delete key on the keyboard and take it out. I'm learning things as I go. Maybe I want to change that chord. All right. So anyway, if you make one of these, I did a right click, add an instrument channel, and I did a double click and edited this note clip, and then if I close it, there it is. And it works like you can slide it and you can stretch it. And I've got all my other tracks muted right now. I muted so I could just hear this. And so this is going to loop. Sounds like a synthesizer, and I don't know if you want to do that or not. That's not required, but I just showed you. So if you want to play with it, that's something you can play with. Actually, I'm going to delete it, and you probably, I don't know, can I delete this track too? It doesn't matter if you have an extra track sitting there, although I can just touch the delete key and delete it. So here it is. This is my three channel 20, at least 20 measure. It's got a fade in it. Yay. So I come over here to the right side to this arrow, and I'm going to export low res MP3, and it's just going to download to my, if I click on the words actually, it downloaded to my downloads folder. But if you're on your Chromebook, it's going to download to your Google Drive. All right. So that's what we are doing at school today. And if you're not at school, you'd be able to do it on your Chromebook. So go for it.